Hey guys, Willie Mandrell, Mandrell Company, and I often get the question, why is my property worth less than my neighbor's? My neighbor's house sold for, in this particular situation, $600,000. My house is listed at the same thing, but I'm not getting the attention, or it's not moving as quickly, as my neighbor's home. And I'm going to try to answer that question really briefly. Hopefully you like my little graphic here. I'm really proud of myself able to put this together. Not that artistic, so it took me a little bit, but hopefully it proves, it shows the point pretty clearly. In this particular instance, we're talking about multifamilies. We're talking about, in this particular model, 2 triple-deckers side by side. Let's assume all else is equal. They were built the same year, in the same condition. The tenant base is just as strong. All the systems are working just as effectively or efficiently as one another. All else being equal, the only thing that differs between these two properties are the rental is the rental income being produced. In property number 1 in our example, you have 3 units. Each one of them is collecting $1,500 per unit. Let's assume they're 3 bedrooms. And then in property number 2, again, all else being equal, you have 3 bedrooms collecting $2,000 apiece. The difference typically that we find between buildings that are almost identical selling for 2 different prices is the rental income that's being produced. When buyers buy rental property, when they buy a multifamily building, a lot of times their intention is to, not a lot of times, most times, I would say all the time, their intention is to collect as much rent as possible to help them reduce their expenses. A lot of times their mortgage qualification relies on the rental income that comes in to help them qualify for a larger purchase. So in this particular example, all else being equal, this particular model, this particular property is worth $550,000. This one is worth roughly $600,000 because of the differences in income. Often you have the seller of property number 1 saying, well, my house, I'm putting my house on the market and you're telling me it's worth $50,000 less than the house 2 doors down that's almost identical to mine that sold for $600. Well, I know my neighbor and I talked to my neighbor and they're getting $600 for their property. Why is my house sitting on the market and it's not getting the attention, and then we listed it at the same price? And again, there are a lot of different factors that go into selling property. The condition, again, the atmosphere. Maybe this person sold in the a nice summer market and this is coming on in the winter. So there's a lot of the rental income is not the only factor that goes into the final price. But a lot of times when you're talking about multifamily properties, especially the triple deckers that we have here in New England, the rental income is a big factor. And the more rental income that you have being generated by the building, typically the higher the sales price of that building compared to similar buildings. So the point we're trying to make is more money increases value. More money equals more value. And the second point is staying up with the market. Staying up with the market, or staying in touch with what's going on in your local rental market. And by that I mean, typically the reason that you find a difference between these 2 buildings and what they're renting for is this person has had long-term tenants. Very good thing. But while these tenants were staying in place, this landlord never systematically went back and increased the rents. The thought process is, and again, to no fault of this person, it's very common that this happens, is my tenants are great, they're great people, they don't give me any trouble, I just want to keep them in place and I want to keep them happy, I'm not going to touch the rent. As long as they're paying the bills, it's paying the bills and I'm covered, I don't need much out of it. But 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, when they've gone, when it's time to now sell, this person has been kept up with the market and systematically said, okay, the 3-bedroom apartments are now renting for $1,800. Now they're renting for $1,900. And as tenants move out and new tenants are being replaced, or the tenants that are in place stay there, and he's systematically increasing 2-3% over time to keep up with the current market rents. When it's time for these 2 individuals to sell, they're cashing out, they're retiring, they're moving on, they're trading up, whatever it is, this person now, despite how nice he was to his tenants or she was to her tenants over the years, is now put themselves in a tough situation compared to the person who kept up with the market. At the end of the day, buyers are going to look at what the property is producing and say, I'm going to make my determination of value based on, not solely, but again, in large part on what I can get back. I'm collecting, even if I occupied this unit, we're looking at it from an investor standpoint, even if we looked at it from an owner-occupant standpoint, and we said we took away this rent, I now have $4,000 to help me with my mortgage. I now have $3,000 over here to help me with my mortgage. I can actually not only afford to pay more, according to my mortgage broker, but it makes sense for me to pay more for this stream of income. And that's exactly what buyers are purchasing, a stream of income. So you as a seller should, over the years, understand that you want to be systematically raising your rents, systematically increasing your rents, not to be troublesome to your tenants, but to make sure when that sale comes sometime in the future that you are prepared for it, and yet the value of your building has been maximized because the rents have been maximized. Hopefully that was helpful. If you need any other helpful tips, hopefully like this, you can visit us at mandrellco.com. You can also give us a call at 617-297-8641. Thanks. Have a nice day.